Hey Grace Kids, welcome back to Grace Kids TV. My name is Tom and I'm one of the pastors here at Grace Church. It's great to be joining you today. In today's lesson, we will go over the story of how God gave his people the land of Canaan. Have you ever run out of time when working on a task or assignment? Maybe you were doing your homework or doing your chores or even in a race and you ran out of time. Well, in today's Bible story, something like that happened to the Israelites. They began to run out of daylight before finishing an important battle. What do you think they did? Joshua's name means the Lord is salvation. God fought for Joshua and the Israelites, saving them and giving them victory over their enemies. Sinners can look to God for victory over sin and death. God brought us salvation by sending his Son, Jesus, to die on the cross for us and to rise again. But before we get too much into today's story, let's head over to Grace Kids Trivia to see what you remember from last week's story about the time God defeated Jericho. Good luck!
Question 1, true or false? The Israelites finally got to the promised land of Canaan, but there was one problem. There were people already living there. And the answer is true. This was true. People were already living in Canaan when the Israelites arrived. The people couldn't just walk in and set up their tents. They would have to go to battle with them to take over the land. Question 2, true or false? Joshua sent 3 spies into the city of Jericho. And the answer is false. This may have tricked you a little bit, but Joshua only sent 2 spies into the city of Jericho, not 3. Question 3, true or false? The 2 spies went to battle with a woman named Rahab to take over her home so they had a place to stay. And the answer is false. This was definitely false. You may remember that Rahab was a woman who had heard about God and wanted to help God's people. So she allowed the 2 spies to stay in her home. She hid the 2 spies on her roof so the king of Jericho could not find them. She asked the spies to keep her and her family safe when they took over Jericho, and the spies agreed to keep them safe. Question 4, true or false? Rahab tied a bright green rope in her window so the Israelites would know where she lived. And the answer is false. This was false again. You probably remember both from our story and from last week's craft that Rahab tied a bright red rope in her window for the Israelites to know where she lived, not a bright green rope. And the final question of the day, question 5, true or false? The city of Jericho was protected by strong walls. God told the Israelites to march around the city 1 time every day for 6 days. He told them to march around the city 7 times on the 7th day for the walls of Jericho to fall down. And the answer is true. This was definitely true. Joshua obeyed God and the Israelites marched around the city of Jericho without talking. They did this for 6 days. Then on the 7th day, they woke up very early and marched around the city 7 times. The Israelites went into the city and captured it, and Rahab and her family lived with the Israelites from that day on. Jesus has won against sin and death, and everyone who trusts in Jesus is safe and becomes part of God's family, just like we learned about with Rahab and her family in last week's story.
everyone, my name is Megan.
And my name is Jessie. Hey Megan, will you spray the sunblock on me?
Sure. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, there you go.
Thank you. I got sunburned last week while I was playing outside. My mom wants me to start wearing sunblock to protect my skin.
That is a good idea.
Yeah, and I don't like being sunburned. First it hurts and then it itches.
You know what? You're right. Sunburns are no fun. The people in today's Bible story probably could have used some sunblock.
How come?
Because God made the sun stand still in the sky to give his people more time to win their battle. Let me tell you the story from the Bible. Joshua and the Israelites went into the promised land, and God was with them. They took over cities like Jericho and Ai, and they made peace with the people in Gibeon. One day, 5 kings made a plan to attack Gibeon. Soon, the men of Gibeon sent a message to Joshua, "Help us, save us!" So Joshua and his army went to help the people of Gibeon. God said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of the kings. I will help you win against them." When Joshua and his army got to the battle, the king's armies were surprised. They did not know the Israelites were coming. God helped the Israelites win the battle. The 5 kings' armies ran away, but God sent a hailstorm to stop them. The battle was not over yet. Joshua and the Israelites needed more time to fight before the sun went down. So Joshua prayed to God. He said, "God, please make the sun and the moon stand still in the sky." The sun stood still and the moon stopped for almost a full day until Israel and Gibeon beat their enemies. As the Israelites traveled in the promised land, God fought for his people and helped Joshua and the Israelites take over the land God had promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Then, for many years, the people of Israel did not fight any battles. God gave them peace and rest from their enemies. Joshua's name means "the Lord is salvation." God fought for Joshua and the Israelites, saving them and giving them victory over their enemies. God saved sinners by sending his son Jesus to die on the cross. Jesus gives us victory over sin and death.
Hi Grace Kids! So it is another chalkboard wall week, but I'm super excited because this week we're answering the big picture question, what is a miracle? And we learned about so many miracles today in our Bible story that we wanted to hear which one you thought was the coolest. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, and then when you're done you can walk with your class to the chalkboard wall to hang it up if you're at Middleburg, or hang them up in your classroom so that everybody can see what you all learned today. Are you ready? So the chalkboard wall is going to say, what is a miracle? And we're going to draw a miracle that we heard today in God's story. So some ideas I had, and you can use anything that you come up with, but some ideas I had was God sent a hailstorm, God made the sun and moon stop, and Jesus gives us victory over sin. So which one are you going to draw? Which one are you going to draw? I am super excited to see everything that you guys come up with. So I drew that God stopped the sun and the moon, but I'm super excited to see what you all draw. And what is the answer to our big picture question? What is a miracle? A miracle is something that God does that usually cannot be done because He is so wonderful and so powerful. I hope that you guys all have an awesome week. Thanks so much for watching Grace Kids TV.